Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we're previewing UFC San Diego, Cruz versus Vera. What's next for Jamahal Hill in the UFC light heavyweight division after a big win last weekend? And a tribute to Judo Gene LeBell.
Let's go!
We got AJ here, and we got Freddie here. Freddie back with a vengeance after a little vacation. Welcome back, Freddie. How you doing?
Great, you?
What's up, Chicano?
We're doing well. We're doing real well. AJ looking green and excited. You good, AJ?
Feeling a little green.
Yeah.
Feeling a little green. I'm still sick, man. COVID-free, but all the symptoms pointing towards COVID.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I was not sure.
And even if it was COVID, man, AJ, you'd be all right, man. Don't worry, man.
Irie, man. Irie. I'm telling you, man, it's this crazy bullshit. Because you know what? I was just saying, like we were talking earlier, is that if I was in the same position 6 months ago, I would have been tackled down and wrapped up in, like, saran wrap. I mean, nobody would have been next to me. But today, everybody's cool. I'm like, I got a cold. I'm telling you.
I think somebody should have still tackled you and wrapped you in saran wrap. I think that would have been a good idea. I think people should just do that to you on a regular basis just because you need to be contained. Shout out to everybody watching us live right now. Shout out to CSL Lorne, Brooklyn Lizard, our buddy Angelo Contagonis. He says, welcome back, guys. Thank you, Angelo. We were off. Last week we took a little break, a little vacation day, and now we are all back together. Fred was off for a couple of weeks. We did a watch-along, then we took last Thursday off. But now we're fully back and ready to go. Yeah.
So this is the week we asked Dave if he's gonna pick Juliana in the third fight.
Julianna Miller. I picked her last weekend. She won.
Oh, good.
Let's talk about that. Juliana Pena. Let's get right into it. We're gonna preview UFC. Dominick Cruz is fighting Marlon Vera. Chito Vera. Vera coming in as a pretty good favorite. You might be surprised by my pick on that card. We'll preview that in a little bit. We'll also get to some results from last weekend. Team Dave actually won. Even though we didn't do a show, I did put out a parlay on the wrestling show because one of our members, Doug Hepburn, asked me for a parlay. I put it out for Doug on the wrestling show last Friday, and it actually came through. The Team Dave parlay came through. So maybe I shouldn't do the parlays on this show. Maybe the key is to do them only on the wrestling show, and that's the luck. You know, that's what we should do.
Maybe listen, all the predictions I said on the wrestling show all came out, man. Even Johnny admitted it. So maybe we should do the swap, you know? Laverne Shirley and
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mork and Mindy kind of thing.
What wrestling show? You weren't on the wrestling show.
No, I said a few things on the I did. I was talking a few things about wrestling and Johnny said I was right. The Ronda Rousey submission and all the rest of the stuff. The calling.
You didn't make predictions though for that. That was all right. What the hell is that? All right.
The Brock Lesnar loss.
What?
I thought Brock Lesnar should have won that fight.
Yeah, but you didn't predict anything. You just made comments that Johnny agreed with. That's what you're saying?
Well, sort of. Yeah, sort of.
Sort of, yeah, definitely. That's different than predicting something. That's just somebody agreeing with your opinion, which two different things. I don't know why you brought that up. I know. I'm confused. You threw me off there. I don't know what you're saying.
You're talking about the wrestling stuff on our show and whatever. Forget it. I got COVID.
You are sick, right? Except you don't have COVID.
Can't you hear my voice?
Yeah, I don't know. You're complaining a lot. You know, I was sick too. You don't hear me complaining about it. I went to jiu-jitsu today. I've tested for COVID several times, and I'm totally fine. I'm not sick anymore. Fred's, like, worried because we rolled today, and he's like, wait a second, you're sick? No, I'm not sick anymore. Fred's not worried. Fred's not scared of anything.
Your voice sounds a little off.
Fred fears nothing.
I don't know, man.
Your voice is a little off. My children are in the germ factory 5 days a week, so I'm all right.
Yeah, that's it. Me too. And that's why, things happen. Angelo dropping the shut up, AJ. Thank you, Angelo. Appreciate it. Always like when you say shut up, AJ. Let's talk about Juliana Pena. Juliana Pena, because AJ really threw me off there. She wants a trilogy fight with Amanda Nunes.
Come on, Dave.
Do it.
What? What did I say? What did I say? I'm just telling you what Juliana wants. I don't think that we should see that fight right now. I don't think there's any reason for that. I think that the point was proven. Juliana and Amanda have fought 7 rounds. Amanda has won 6 out of those 7 rounds. She lost 1 round real bad and got finished, but she still won 6 out of the 7 rounds. And when you can win in the rematch the way Amanda did, I don't really see a reason to do it immediately. You know, I don't see a reason to do it. I mean, most people called it, AJ. Most people were picking me.
I told you it was going to be a clinic.
AJ and Fred. Yeah. I mean, most people in the world were picking Amanda to win. She was the betting favorite in the rematch. You know, Juliana was a gigantic underdog in the first fight, and only I picked that. So I don't know. If we're going to brag, I think it's 50-50 at best, if not me a little bit over you still.
So in the third fight, is she going to be a big underdog like in the first fight, bigger underdog? I don't know, man. That left a bad impression.
I'd say as big as the first, if not bigger, because, yeah, I picked her in the first fight to win. I picked her in the second fight to win. I would not pick her to win the third fight based on what I saw in the second fight. I think Amanda seems like the better fighter. Juliana had a great night, but Amanda seems better. Sorry, Fred, go ahead.
It might not happen right away, but I believe it's going to happen. Like Juliana, if she puts on one impressive win, they'll probably try to sell us this fight because there's not – who else is out there for Amanda, you know? There's not much, so at least Juliana
she wanted to go up in weight too, Freddie. Look, she wanted to go up in weight as well to fight Amanda. Listen, man,
doesn't exist
forget
much.
Who what? Who wants to go up in weight?
Juliana, just prior.
I don't know about that. She never said anything about that.
Oh, yeah, she did.
But it makes no sense now that she lost. Like, if she had won
this
the
was prior to the loss.
again, why not go for 145? But it makes no sense. You know, she lost. So it's 135. And 145 is just, like, non-existent in the UFC pretty much. So
yeah,
I don't care about that.
And I think you're right about that. Amanda did say she wanted to go up to 145 and defend her belt there after this fight. But I don't think that there's a lot of challengers there for Amanda Nunes. I think that there are more challengers at 135, and even then, you're pushing it. I think you're pushing it. And if you look at the UFC Featherweight Rankings, there's nobody in the rankings. It's Amanda Nunes as the champion, and nobody underneath. Look, I'll show you the UFC website right now. I'll prove it to you. Look at this. They have, here's the bantamweights, right? Pena ranked first, Ketlin Vieira, some other people, Holly Holm, right? And look, featherweights, Amanda champion, nobody. It's an empty division. It doesn't exist. You know, you see the other divisions that got people in them, you know? Champions and people. This division here, featherweights, it's in French here, poids plume, but you know that's feather. Because plume in French is feather, okay, Fred? I don't know if you knew that.
You're so good, Freddie.
Yeah, Fred didn't know that. I have to teach Fred French, too, sometimes. So Amanda, she's the only person in that division. And before this fight, she's like, I'm going to fight at featherweight next. And Juliana's like, to fight who? There's nobody in that division. And she's not wrong, because if you look on the UFC's website, they actually have nobody even ranked in the division. And Fred, again, you're right. Like Juliana Pena, #1 ranked. She beat Amanda. Like the other options are Ketlin Vieira or I guess Valentina.
Options.
There's Valentina, right? Because Valentina's kind of cleaned out her division, and you know she's fought Amanda twice, but she's lost to Amanda twice, right? At least with Juliana, they're 1-1. They were talking about doing the trilogy with Valentina, but I don't know. And also, quite frankly, that Valentina Tyler Santos fight was pretty close. Like, I'm not sure a fight like that makes fans want to go, oh, she's got to take on somebody outside of her division because nobody can stop her. That fight for Valentina made Valentina look real human, real regular at 125. still better, still the best fighter in the division, but like not by a wide margin. And I think that she would lose to Amanda again. So the size and other factors.
I'll tell you what, man. This fight by Amanda, this pretty much like put her back in the discussion of like greatest fighter, probably greatest female fighter, and amongst the greatest fighter period in MMA. Because to me that loss, like, it was a blemish, but the way she came back from it, man, dominating like that, like you can't. Look, most fighters, other than John Jones, most fighters have a couple of losses on their record, and she came back and she avenged it in perfect way. So, if anything, Amanda coming out of this is back in the conversation as one of the greatest fighters of all time, and she has nobody. There's just nobody interesting in her division. So, I don't know. Maybe take another break, let Juliana fight somebody else, and maybe we have the winner of that fight Amanda, but that division, man, is in need of some new blood.
But Freddie, just back to what you were saying, you're talking about her loss, but when you looked at the reasons to her loss and leading up to that fight, she had all kinds of obstacles. COVID was a big factor where it interfered with her arm. Like she had no feeling in her arm leading up to the fight. Listen, she had injuries. She had all kinds of stuff leading to that fight where even though she had issues going into that fight, that first round was pretty much, in my opinion, a 10-8, and I keep saying that all the time. But coming back to the second fight, like I said to Dave, I said it's going to be a clinic by Amanda. Amanda went in there 100% physically and 100% mentally. The first fight that they fought, she was 100% there mentally, but nowhere close to 100% physically. Look, shit happens. But now, who do you fight? Do you bring Cyborg back? Like, what do you do? How do you make it more competitive? How do you make it more fun? Listen, her name has come up again, man. Cyborg, I'm telling you.
I've been reading that PFL is trying to do Kyla Harrison against Cyborg, and they're offering them some pretty interesting numbers from what I read, over $1 million each. So that could make sense for them. And as for Amanda, I'm just going to say, like, remember when GSP lost to Matt Serra? Like some people would say, like, sort of excuses, GSP wasn't focused, he wasn't there, like, and all that. But in the end, GSP just came back and took care of business, and that's what Amanda did. So, like, yeah, she probably wasn't perfect on her first fight, but I like that she just like came back, took care of business, and maybe she mentioned the first fight having some problems, but I don't see her as really using it as an excuse. She corrected that in the cage by dominating her opponent. So props to her.
Yeah, and I don't see any reason why we need to see that fight again, other than there's nothing else going for Amanda Nunes right now. And if the UFC wants to make another fight with her, I guess her and Juliana would make sense. I'll tell you what Amanda Nunes is never going to do, and that's break Ronda Rousey's record of consecutive title defenses at 135, because she was a fight away from doing it. She was a fight away. That Juliana Pena fight, the first one, would have been Amanda's 6th title defense at 135.
She's still a greater fighter than Ronda.
Oh, for sure. She beat Ronda.
She's a 2-division champ.
Of course. But the record,
Cyborg.
Ronda's record of 6 consecutive title defenses at 135 will still stand, because Amanda won't get 6 more unless she does, which would be crazy. And, she'll tie Ronda's record in her next title defense at 135 if she wins, of 6 total defenses, and if she gets one more, she'll break the record. But I was looking and checking Amanda's record. She's defended a few times at 145. That's why I had to double check. She's only defended it 5 times at 135, and Ronda somehow, like, it's just amazing the greatness of Ronda that all these years later she still has records that are still standing in the UFC. It's kind of crazy. Anyhow, I got some breaking news for you guys. MMA Fighting is reporting that Jiri Prochazka will be defending his UFC Light Heavyweight Championship against...
Who?
Glover Teixeira in a rematch, UFC 282 on December 10th, most likely in Las Vegas. Nice. So it'll be Jiri...
Could be interesting.
Jiri and Glover one more time. It was a great
that
fight.
Was like that's amongst the best fights ever, that first one, man. That rematch needed to happen.
Yeah, it's just that.
Let me ask you this: did it need to happen? Let me ask you this, Fred.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: who are you picking?
Glover was impressive, man. Glover did much better than I expected, especially in the striking. Like, I'm not counting Glover out of there, man. He got tired, made a mistake, pulling guard, I think he did. Was that it? He pulled guard, and then he lost the position. I don't know, man. I like Glover, man. Veteran, man. Old man.
You're going with the old man. You're going old man Glover. I'm surprised. I'm going with Jiri. Like, I think, like, yeah, I get it. It was a close fight and everything, but I think Jiri wins, and maybe more impressively this time. Like, I don't think it's going to be as close as it was last time. I think Jiri makes a statement, and I think the last time, you know, he let some things happen that he's going to correct in this fight. I think we see a better Jiri. I think Jiri beats Glover worse this time. It was a great fight, but now there's kind of a logjam at 205 pounds. We saw Jamahal Hill get a nice win over Thiago Santos last week. I don't know if you guys saw the fight. Fred, I know for sure you didn't see that fight. For sure. I know you
saw
didn't.
The highlights.
Yeah, that's good enough. That's all you need. But you know what happened, right? It was a good fight, man. Thiago Santos was in that fight up until the finish. Jamahal Hill finishing him with a TKO in the 4th round. I'll be honest, I had a long day. I was in and out, falling asleep on the couch watching that fight. But I made it. I was sick, too. I was real sick last weekend, like, kind of staying up. I watched the Yankees lose a 1-0 game, and then I watched my parlay come through. I needed a little good news before I went to bed, so that was good. Jamahal Hill cashing in Team Dave's parlay with a TKO in the 4th round, knocking out Thiago Santos. Hell of a fight. Jamahal Hill's a hell of a fighter, and he's really making a name for himself. Like, he's climbing the ranks. He's 31 years old. He's 11-1. His lone loss to Paul Craig. He's won 3 in a row. Jimmy Crute, AJ's favorite guy, Johnny Walker, and now Thiago Santos, who's a former title challenger. Like, it was a tough fight for Jamahal Hill, but he stood up to it, and he won. And now he finds himself at the top level of the UFC light heavyweight division. And I wonder what the UFC is going to do with him. Now that we know for sure Glover and Jiri is happening. If you do Ankalaev, what about Yan Blhoetz? Because Yan Blhoetz is around too.
That's true.
And I feel like maybe Ankalaev's going to get Yan Blhoetz unless Jamahal Hill gets Yan. Like, I don't know who the UFC is going to give Yan to. Because to me, the Yan fight, if you beat Yan, or even if Yan wins, that's the title eliminator. Like, that is the fight. It's Yan Blhoetz. Whoever he fights, the winner in that fight is going to fight the winner of Jiri and Glover. So if you're Magomed Ankalaev or you're Jamahal Hill, you are petitioning the UFC to give you that Yan Blhoetz fight. You want that fight because that fight is your ticket. And if you don't get that fight, you're going to be fighting some other guy, light heavyweight, and who knows how long you'll have to wait for a title shot or whatever to happen for you. So if you want that fast track, if you want to get up to the title, that's the guy you have to fight, Yan Blhoetz. Unless something happens and you just say, forget Yan Blhoetz. It's going to be Magomed and Jamahal Hill and the winner there. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think Yan Blhoetz, former champion, coming off a win there over Rakic, he's going to come up. He's going to get a shot as long as he beats another guy. I think he's going to have to beat another guy. So I think they do Magomed and Yan Blhoetz. And then I wonder now, what do you do? Rakic is hurt, though. Remember, Rakic got hurt in that fight with Yan Blhoetz, and I think he's going to be
hurt, huh? He's out for a while.
Yeah, Anthony Smith is hurt, and he just came off a loss to Magomed.
I don't know, man. Those are the top guys in the standings there. So if you look at the light heavyweight standings, it's Glover, Blhoetz, Ankalaev, Rakic, Smith. Then it's Hill. So then who? Maybe Dominick Reyes, Ozdemir. I'm not sure what those guys are doing. Thiago Santos just lost. So Jamahal Hill is in a position where he doesn't have an opponent, unfortunately.
How about Volkan? How about Volkan Ozdemir? Volkan's coming off a win over Paul Craig.
Yeah, but I mean he's ranked 8th, you know. So if you're Jamahal Hill,
he's ranked 8th because he lost to 2 guys in a row. But the two guys he lost to are Jiri Prochazka and Magomed Ankalaev. Like, he's only losing to the elite of the division. If you look at Volkan Ozdemir, the guy was 15-1, got a title shot pretty early in his career, lost to Daniel Cormier, then he lost to Anthony Smith, then he lost a split decision to Dominic Reyes, and it looked kind of shaky. He came back, knocked out Ilir Latifi, got a split decision win over Alexander Rakic, then got knocked out by Jiri Prochazka, which, you know, you can understand. It's Jiri, he's the world champion. Then he lost a decision to Magomed. Then he came back and beat Paul Craig. Like, to me, Volkan Ozdemir, 32 years old. I know he's ranked 8th in the UFC's rankings right now, but if Jamahal Hill wants to stay active and Magomed gets the Yan Blhoetz fight, which I think is the fight to make, Yan versus Magomed, I would do Jamahal Hill, who's ranked 8th, against Volkan Ozdemir. And you can say, well, Jamahal Hill probably wants somebody ranked higher than him, but so does Volkan Ozdemir. You know, and Volkan's coming off a win. Jamahal Hill's coming off a win. And Volkan is a name. He fought for the title. He's main evented a UFC pay-per-view. I think you can sell that fight to Jamahal Hill. I would do Volkan and Jamahal Hill next. Match up Magomed and Yan Blhoetz. And then, of course, we got Glover fighting Jiri for the title. Do them all at UFC 282, right? Do them all in December. Throw everything out there. Give me Jiri and Glover. Give me Yan and Magomed. Like, if we could get that as the co-main event for this pay-per-view, oh, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if you get Jiri and Glover and then the co-main event is Magomed and Yan Blhoetz, it's like, okay, now we got something here. Now we're setting up, you know, what we're doing. It's the last pay-per-view of 2022. You set up 2023. It's a brand new era in the light heavyweight division. And if you could throw somehow Jamahal Hill and Volkan Ozdemir on that card, it's only August. You can't get them ready for December? Come on, that's a hell of a pay-per-view. Dana White, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, call me up. I got these ideas for you guys. It's a pretty good setup for the UFC light heavyweight division.
Yeah, you sold me there, man.
Yeah, you guys aren't arguing. Good. You guys are like, yeah, no. Volkan makes sense. I like that. When I bring something out and you guys are like, yep, sounds good, Dave. That's perfect. You know, a lot of these shows, they want to try and fabricate, like, arguments. Like, you take one side and I'll take the other. It's like, well, no, sometimes if somebody brings up a valid point that everybody agrees on, we agree because it goddamn makes sense. Ringside.
I mean, there's not much else for him. So, yeah, it makes sense. Ozdemir is an interesting fighter, even though he's ranked lower than him. And, yeah, Blhoetz and Ankalaev would make sense. So I hope that gets announced. I hope that they're trying to make that.
But all on the same card would be, like, sick. That would be amazing, man.
For sure.
That would be a great way to end the year. I totally agree with you.
For sure. If somebody gets injured in the title fight, you got options. You know, you could bring somebody else to replace. So, yeah, it would make sense.
Jamahal Hill was at his post-fight press conference, and he was looking for the title or the former champion only. He didn't seem willing to fight anybody but Jiri Prochazka or Yan Blhoetz. He kept saying those guys' names. Now, it makes sense for him, who's trying to, you know, build up to the title. I totally get that, but I wonder if it's going to be a problem if you offer him Volkan Ozdemir instead. I found it real interesting, though, that Jamahal Hill, sitting there calling people out, calling out names, said Jiri, said Yan, but didn't say Magomed ever. Didn't say Magomed's name. Like, it's just surprising because to me,
he's not a former champion, man.
I guess, but he
lost to Paul Craig. They both lost to Paul Craig, actually, so they should fight.
Sure. But, like I said, if you could just ice out Yan Blhoetz and say, forget Yan. Like, to me, if you're Jamahal Hill, you could be strategic and go, well, I want to fight Yan, but if Magomed gets the Yan fight, I'll probably have to wait around for my title shot because I have to fight Volkan and then somebody else and then the title shot. But if you're Jamahal Hill and you just say, oh, I don't want to fight Yan Blhoetz, I'll fight Magomed, and then Magomed and Jamahal Hill fight, then Yan's on the outside looking in with no opponent. See what I'm saying? But he didn't call out Magomed. He didn't say Magomed's name. And I think I know why. Because who the hell in their right mind would want to fight Magomed Ankalaev? That guy, nobody knows who he is. He's kind of flying under the radar still. Like, if Magomed talked like Khamzat Chimaev does, it'd be a different story. You know what I mean? Like, it would be different. Like, Jiri Prochazka has fewer fights in the UFC than Magomed, but somehow he got himself to a title shot because he's got cool hair and he's got, like, a fun way of being, you know? And he knocks people out. Like, Magomed fights a little bit more patient and measured, and he wins by decision sometimes. But Magomed Ankalaev, like, he's so good. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny to me, some of the guys who get the push and some of the guys who don't. Like, Jiri, he gets the push. Magomed, not so much. You see in the UFC's the welterweight division, you've got Khamzat, he gets the push. Shavkat Rakhmonov, no push. Quiet, but you could tell, like, oh, that guy, when you see him fight, you're like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that Shavkat Rakhmonov guy is crazy good. Undefeated, Kazakhstan with a crazy hat when he walks in, you know? He's got the whole gimmick going. But he's quiet. He doesn't talk too much. I don't think he speaks English, where Khamzat is like, hey, buddy, fuck you. You know, he's talking shit. So it's different, you know, but that's kind of how the UFC works. But those of us that follow the sport, those of us that know, you know, we know Magomed Ankalaev is out there. And I'm sure Jamahal Hill knows it too, but why call that man out if he doesn't have the name behind him, if he's not going to promote the fight and make a bunch of money, you know? It makes sense to fight Yan Blhoetz or Jiri. Like, I don't blame Jamahal Hill for doing it. It's just like, you know, that's also a fight you could have there against Magomed because, you know me, I'm a big Magomed guy. I think he's the man. I think he's going to be the champion. I'm not sure it happens by the end of this year, though, guys.
Well, we called that, like, at the beginning of the year. We said by the end of 2022, he would be one of the champions that we predicted.
Title shot. You won't get the title shot this year.
I don't think so. It's too bad.
We are midway. You know, we are a little bit more than midway through the year, right?
Yeah.
Right? So we've done 6 months of the year, right? January 6th, 2022, we stormed the White House. No, we gave our predictions for... I'm like, what?
Careful.
No, we didn't do that. That wasn't in 2022 either. When was that? Was that 2021 or 2020? I don't remember. It was 2020, right?
2021. Yeah, because the election was in 2020 in October 2020, and then
it was January 2021.
The transfer of power was in January.
Okay. I get it. You see how closely I follow these things? So we gave our predictions, okay, for the champions. I want to read you some of our predictions, and I want to see if you want to change your mind. You're not allowed, but I want to know if you're still confident, right? So, the heavyweight champion at the end of 2020, we all predicted would be Cyril Gane. Do you think that's still the case? Because I know it won't be, because Francis isn't going to fight. Francis is the champion. Francis beat Cyril. I mean, it was a close fight, Fred.
Listen,
it came down to the fifth round. I think it was 2-2 going into the fifth.
It was, man. It was closer than everyone thought. And going into that fifth, if Cyril would have been a little bit more on the attack, he would have won that fight, man. I'm telling you, Freddie. If they fight again,
takedown defenses away from win, I think. Yeah, but
I'm telling you, he could beat him.
Francis was hurt going into that fight, and Francis had knee surgery. He probably won't fight until the end of this year, if that. Probably not until early next year.
He doesn't have a contract.
I think they figured something out, though. No, he's gonna fight.
I think they were in talks. They were still in talks. They had dinner. I don't think anything's been actually... For now, he doesn't have a contract.
There's still the talk about fighting Tyson Fury, so...
We predicted... AJ and I predicted Magomed Ankalaev would be the light heavyweight champion by the end of the year. Fred predicted Jiri would be the light heavyweight champion at the end of the year. Jiri won the title, and I'm
predicting Glover now.
Oh, wow. Fred, too bad, Fred. You can't change your January 6 predictions. The January 6 predictions live on forever.
Live with my decisions from January 6th. That's
right,
what you're
Fred.
Saying?
Whatever you did and decided on January 6th of this year,
you can't change.
This year, you can't take back.
Influences the rest of my life.
Yeah, you may be prosecuted for those decisions as well. We all predicted Israel Adesanya would remain middleweight champion at the end of the year. Anybody have doubts? Still at this point?
Man,
Pereira, scary.
Yeah,
Pereira's scary, guys.
Listen, Listen, man, he has to lose 47 pounds before November. He's up to 232. That's the problem. So, like, man, is he taking it serious? 47 pounds before November, dude.
November's a long time. We all predicted.
Pounds?
Actually, AJ and I predicted Khamzat would be the welterweight champion by the end of the year. And at this point, I don't think it's going to happen because Khamzat is fighting Nate Diaz next, so that's not happening. Fred, once again, I think you're correct here. You had Kamaru Usman, and I think Usman will remain champion because he's going to fight Leon Edwards, and that'll probably be his only fight this year. Yep. We all predicted Islam Makhachev would be the lightweight champion. He's fighting for the title against Charles Oliveira in September.
Olives, man.
You got Chucky Olives? Man. You're changing your... You're going back to Chucky Olives? No, you had Islam, Fred. Olives. Well, you're sticking with your decision from January 6th. Fred and I both had Volkanovski as the featherweight champion. AJ had Holloway. I don't think that's going to happen, AJ. I think you're out of luck with that one.
Are you sure I took Holloway?
Yep. I wrote it down, and I wouldn't write down the wrong thing. I guess you have to trust me, but, you know. I don't
Go back to listen to the show, January 6th.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Go back and watch the show on YouTube.
You like to promote old shows. Go for it.
Yeah, there you go, AJ. We all had Petr Yan. We all had Petr Yan as the bantamweight champion. I think we're dead wrong on that because Aljamain's the champion, and I don't think Petr Yan's going to fight for the belt. He's going to beat up Sean O'Malley at some point, but that's
going to destroy him.
Yeah. AJ and I had Askar Askarov as the flyweight champion. That's not happening. And Fred had Brandon Moreno. That's kind of happening because Brandon is the interim champ, so good enough for me. It was
part of my parlay on the pay-per-view that I won.
There you go.
That's true.
Look at you. We all had Amanda Nunes as the featherweight champion, which obviously there's nobody else. I had Juliana Pena as the bantamweight champion, and you guys had Amanda Nunes, so there's that. We all had Valentina and the women's 115-pound belt. We all had Rose Namajunas as the champion, even though I did pick Carla Esparza to beat her, and she did win. I guess I didn't expect Carla Esparza to have that fighter. I don't know, but you look back 6 months ago at some of your picks, and you see how quickly the UFC can change in 6 months. Like, we're halfway through the year, and you look back at some of our predictions and thoughts on what would happen this year, and we're right about some things. We're dead wrong about a lot of stuff, too. I'm surprised.
Like a lot of fights too. Like we thought Conor would be fighting again before the end of the year. I mean, there's so much stuff.
I didn't think that.
Things are changing. I thought he would.
Yeah. You think Conor's going to come back and like win the title by the end of the year? I think at heavyweight, possibly. I don't know.
Well, he is looking pretty heavy right now. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But look, man. There's so many things.
As long as we're doing a look back,
man, what's happening with him? Like we'll see what happens, man. Jones, man.
John Jones, Dana White gave an update on John Jones and said that hopefully they'll have him fighting at heavyweight by the end of the year against Stipe. So
I hope so, man.
It's in the works. They just haven't worked it out fully yet. As we're looking back, last weekend Jamahal Hill picked up a win. I gave you some picks for the fights last weekend. Jeff Neal with an upset victory over Vicente Luque by knockout in the third round. Mohammed Usman over Zach Pauga. This is Kamaru Usman's brother.
Is it the bigger brother?
Heavyweight. I think he's younger.
He's older. Let me check.
He older?
I'll tell you in a sec. How old is he?
He looks older, but I don't know.
Often when you're bigger, you look older, but it doesn't mean you're actually older. I believe he's younger. He's 33, and Kamaru is, I think, a couple years older.
No, he's the younger brother. You're right, Freddie.
Yeah, that's what I said. Dave was right, not Freddie.
Oh, I thought it was Fred. Sorry, man.
Well, I think Fred said older.
I thought I was right also.
All right, Fred, we're both right. AJ, you're wrong. That feels better. So, Usman Mohammed, the younger brother of Kamaru, becomes the Ultimate Fighter. Did you guys see that guy? Mohammed Usman? I watched him in the Ultimate Fighter, and he looked all right. But in this fight, oh my goodness. Like, he didn't look amazing in the fight, but physically, like shoulders the size of boulders, just a gigantic man. And he throws this one punch that knocked Zach Pauga out cold. It was very impressive.
like just because of the size, if him and his brother were to fight, I might have to take like the heavyweight. So how many like UFC champions can say they're not the toughest guy and Kamaru might be the toughest guy in his family, but like you're the UFC champ, you expect to beat everybody in your own family, but that might not be the case for Kamaru.
You ever see John Jones' brother Arthur? He's like 330 pounds.
Yeah.
I think John Jones had some problems with his brothers. His brother Chandler's a pretty big guy too, and he played in the NFL. Like, I think John Jones is a hell of a fighter, but I think his brothers probably give him some trouble. They're pretty big dudes. It's a lot. It's a lot. Julianna Miller was on the Team Dave parlay. She came through as well, becoming the ultimate fighter at 125 pounds for the women. Julianna Miller over Brogan Walker-Sanchez, using some nice takedowns, some really good ground control. Of course, from 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, San Diego, under the great Richie Martinez. Fred and I know, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, it's a pretty good no-gi grappling. It's a pretty good system. Julianna Miller coming through for 10th Planet, coming through as the new Ultimate Fighter. I am a big fan of Julianna Miller. She is a game fighter. She is all heart. She is going to be a force in the UFC. Look out for Julianna Miller. I'm telling you right now, guys, she's going to be somebody to watch in the UFC, either flyweight, maybe 115 at some point. I'm not sure, but 125 for now. She's a problem. Like, she's not just going to be good and, have a few fights. I think down the road, we're going to look at her as a title challenger. I think she's going to be that good. She's just got something. She's got attitude as well. She's doing it the right way. I'm
pretty
a big
good
fan.
hands as well. Because if you look at her fight there with the strike totals, I mean, she threw out like bombs, like 110 total strikes. She had 54 significant strikes out of 85.
Mostly on the ground.
Hitting at 63%. But I didn't see the fight, but from what I'm looking at statistically, she looks like she was pretty good standing up.
Those are just numbers, but a lot of those strikes that they're counting are ground strikes. They're not, she took her down and a lot of ground and pound. Solid elbows, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Julianna Miller, great cardio, just never gives an inch, just in your face all the time. Reminds me a little bit of Rose Namajunas, a little bit more takedown heavy. Really
How old
good.
is she?
Really good. She's pretty young, I think. I'll tell you in a second. She is still in her 20s, I would guess. Julianna Killer Miller, now just 3-1 as a pro, 26 years old. 26 years old. I'm telling you guys, give her 3-4 years. By the time she hits 30, she's going to be a legit problem in the UFC, if not before. Ultimate Fighter winner, don't sleep on Julianna Miller. Let me give you a little taste of me and Johnny North. You want me and Johnny?
Let's do it.
You want a little flavor? I gave you a parlay last week that won, so I feel like I should let you know. Let's see it. Where are we? Team Dave. Team Dave. I do like Brian Battle over Takashi Sato. I think that's a pretty good pick right there. Boom.
Maybe I can give you a
cashed
parlay.
in. Brian Battle. Give you a Team Dave parlay as we wind the show down here. A little MMA betting for you on a Saturday night for the UFC. The UFC is in Vegas. They're back at the Apex. They're in San Diego next week. They got Dominick Cruz fighting in the main event there in Cruz's hometown. Tomorrow night, they're in Vegas. It is Thiago Santos versus... skip to the parlay, Dave. Oh, yeah. I'm going for Julianna Miller big time. I like that. Oh, and Julianna Miller's tough. Yeah. 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu as well. Yeah. Got to go with Julianna Miller. Got to go with Brian Battle. That's going to be my 3-5 parlay I'm going to give you. Doug, my man, there is the 3-5 parlay that I'm giving you. Let me see if I can give it to you here. Boom, boom.
Prophet Muhammad.
What? Who's this guy?
What happened there? Who's that guy,
It's
man?
a video that jumped on my screen. Who's that guy?
I wanted to see what it paid out.
Okay, I'll get it to you in a second here. Some guys trying to tell me about a profit. Take that to the bank, hopefully. Jamahal Hill. Oh, I'm not seeing it. Jamahal Hill, minus. Where is it? Oh, it's not showing up.
Gotta get the lady in there.
Oh, I'm trying to get her out of there. Get out of there, lady. I'm not seeing the. My freaking screen is like all messed up. The screen was messed up, guys. I can't get the.
It was there for a second.
Super chat. What? No, I can't get the odds on this. It's not showing up. Whatever. Jamahal Hill minus 334. Juliana Miller minus 125. Brian Battle minus 300. That's a 3-fight parlay. $20. Will get you 62.40 at bet99.com. There you go, AJ. 20 for 62.40, and the parlay came through last week. Battle, Miller, and Hill. We did
Bravo,
it.
bud.
I actually won one after a few weeks of it was like 2-3 weeks of bad picks for Dave. And now last week it was like, all right, baby, we're back on the horse. We won one.
Man, you're in a bad mood for a
What's the
couple
magic
weeks there.
parlay this week?
I don't know.
Oof, it's a tough one, man.
Do you guys think about Dominick Cruz here? He's fighting Marlon Vera.
It's a tough one, man.
Cruz,
I don't think I have it on my parlay.
Cruz is plus 185, Vera minus 234. It's tough.
It's tough and not so tough. You're looking at a guy who's 36 years old, another guy who's 29 years old.
37.
Is he 37?
Yeah,
oh,
Dominick
yeah,
Cruz is 37.
Yeah, 37. I mean, it's a tough one. You have one guy who's been in the game for so long and out of the game, in the game and out of the game. One of the best fighters in MMA history, Dominick Cruz. It's hard to go against him, but at 37 years old, you know, coming back to fight he thinks he still has one last chance to go for the title. It's going to be hard against a guy like Vera, man. Vera, man, has been like on a tear. He's been 4-1 in his last 5. He's 9-2 in the past 4 years. They're both veterans, man. These guys have been fighting for a long time. The only thing is that Vera has been looking good of late, and he's only 29 years old, man. So I'm telling you, Father Time is going to be a factor in this fight. And it's hard to go up against a former WEC champion, man. This guy was the best in the game. Probably, like I said, the best pound for pound fighter in MMA history. But everybody knew Dominick Cruz. Nobody will go against him. But we're in 2022, bud. You know? And he's a great broadcaster. I love this guy as an analyst. Yeah, he was. But they changed from the WEC to the UFC at that point. So who did he do? He defended it.
Is Dominick Cruz the greatest bantamweight of all time?
Who's the other choices?
I'd say TJ Dillashaw.
Nah.
Aljamain Sterling, Cody Garbrandt. I don't know. No, I'd say Dominick Cruz. Yeah, I don't think there's really much of an argument.
Same way Jose Aldo. Well, Volkanovski might be making a case now for 145, but Jose Aldo was the king, even though he wasn't champion for a couple of years. Like all the guys that came after him, they didn't do what he did. But Volkanovski right now might be making an argument for himself.
Yeah,
some people say Holloway.
True.
Yeah, he has a couple of wins over Aldo, and I don't know. Aldo had such a good run.
Aldo was already broken by McGregor. When Holloway beat him, Aldo was already broken by Conor McGregor. That Conor McGregor fight did something to Jose Aldo that was never repaired. Come on, guys. He got in his head and he messed with him. And Jose was undefeated, unbeatable, unstoppable until that fight. Conor touched him with one punch and put his lights out. It was like, what? What just happened? So.
Crazy times, man. But it's going to be like a fight that I think the win's going to go to Vera, man. I don't want to go against like Dominick Cruz, but I don't think he has I don't think he has enough in his gas tank, man. I think there's too much wear and tear, man. This guy was off for like almost 6 years in total in MMA, man. 3 years off, came back. Then he went 3 years off and came back in 2020.
And he won,
he got KO'd by Cejudo. Well, he won. Yeah, he came back and
He's won 2 in a row, though, right? Dominick Cruz has won 2 in a row.
So, he's been going deep in fights also.
Yeah. And he beat Pedro Munoz, who's a very game fighter. Had a tough go of it in December. It was a tough fight for Dominick Cruz. He almost got knocked out in the first round. Pedro Munoz hit him with some heavy shots, but that's what Pedro Munoz does. He hits you with those heavy shots, and he almost puts you out. He puts out a lot of guys with those shots. Dominick Cruz didn't go out. And I watched that fight today. It's the same Dominick Cruz. Like, this guy is 24-3 as a professional. The 3 losses are to Henry Cejudo, Cody Garbrandt, and Uriah Faber. You know what those 3 guys have in common? World championships. They beat Dominick Cruz when they were at their very best. Dominick Cruz didn't fight Cody Garbrandt after he got knocked out a couple of times. Dominick Cruz fought Cody Garbrandt, who was 10-0 at the time, and it was for the UFC Bantamweight Championship, and still went 5 rounds with Cody Garbrandt, coming up on a losing end of a close fight. Dominick Cruz got TKO'd by Henry Cejudo, not when... I mean, Henry Cejudo never really had a down period because he retired, but this is at the peak of Henry Cejudo's powers. This was Henry Cejudo's final fight. He had already defeated Dillashaw and Demetrius and Marlon Moraes. Like, he was going through everybody. Then he went through Dominick Cruz, and he retired after beating Dominick Cruz because it's such an accomplishment for Cejudo to beat Dominick Cruz. And, of course, Uriah Faber beat him, but it was at 145 pounds. It was in Dominick Cruz's 10th fight, and Cruz avenged those losses. What I'm trying to tell you is, to beat Dominick Cruz, you have to be world championship level, top of the top, elite. And I think Marlon Vera is very good, but I'm not sure that he is elite at this stage in the game. And I think that Dominick Cruz may be 37 years old, but those years that you talk about, AJ, those years are big fights and brain trauma that he didn't take. Yeah. He didn't take trauma. And he is one of the smartest fighters I have ever heard break down a fight. Forget that. He is the smartest fighter that I've ever heard break down the ins and outs of mixed martial arts. I have never heard a fighter break down fighters, other fighters, himself, opponents like Dominick Cruz. He is like a computer, this guy.
Yeah, he's good.
He knows how to win. He's a winner. He's one of the greatest of all time. We just said he's the greatest bantamweight of all time. I think Marlon Vera is very good. Vera's really good, and I could see him winning on Saturday. And I could see him knocking Dominick Cruz out. I could totally see that happen, for sure. But look, if he doesn't knock him out, he's hard to hit. Dominick Cruz is so hard to hit. He's so awkward. Nobody fights like Dominick Cruz. That figure eight, stance
I was going to say, how did Vera beat Edgar? Because I see that win. I don't remember that fight, but him beating Edgar tells me, like, maybe he could hang with Cruz, man. I think Edgar Cruz have a little similarity between them.
Look, he was dominant against Rob Font for 5 rounds, man. You know, he'd KO Sean O'Malley. I mean, like, he has a 2.5-inch reach. You know, he's got a lot of things. Like I said, and youth is one of them at 29. With veteran experience, man, he's 4-1 in his last 5. He's got everything. You know, when you're looking at the grappling game, he's okay. You're gonna look at him as a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Dominick Cruz is only a blue belt. You know that, by the way. Which I was kind of surprised.
So was John Jones.
Yeah, Dominick Cruz is a good grappler, man.
Yeah, he's a great wrestler. What are you talking about?
For sure. Yeah, he's a great wrestler.
Just because you don't put a gi on doesn't mean you don't know how to choke people.
Absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is that it's a different game, man. You know, we're in 2022, man. It's not 2014 anymore. That's the difference. I just think that, if you could go 5 rounds with Rob Font.
In my parlay.
I'm not either. I'm putting it as a single bet on Dominick Cruz because he's coming in as an underdog. And
the odds are nice for him.
The odds are really good for him. Plus 185. If I see Dominick Cruz plus 185, I've just seen Dominick Cruz fight too many times, and I know that he's still that guy. He's still the same. Like, he hasn't lost a step. He's super intelligent. Dominick Cruz reminds me of a pitcher who may not have the same heat as he did when he was a younger man, but he's smart and he knows where to place the pitches. Dominick Cruz is like a cerebral fighter. He's smart. He knows what to do. And I don't think Marlon Vera has the power of Pedro Munoz. And Pedro Munoz wasn't able to put Cruz down. I don't think Vera's going to be able to do it either. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, AJ, okay? It's fine. Don't get mad. Don't say, whoa, Dave. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen. Okay? I think Dominick Cruz is going to win this fight by decision like he's won so many 5-round fights in the past. In his hometown, I'm going with the dominator, Dominick Cruz, once again by decision over Marlon Vera. I could be right. I could be wrong. Same goes for you, AJ. Let's not forget that very often you are also wrong. Sometimes you're right.
All right.
Sometimes you're right. No. But sometimes you're right.
Listen, man. Listen. Look, you're looking at Vera, man. Just think of this: 3 consecutive performance bonuses, man. This guy's gonna go and fight. But that's what I keep saying is that does he have what it takes in the gas tank at 37 years old to do what he did in the past? No, man. He's looking. He thinks he has one last hurrah, man. Vera is just a beast, man. He's 19 and 7.
Vera has a bunch of kids, man. Kids make you tired, man.
That's true. You got to point that for
I might go with Cruz.
You're right.
Gotta go with Cruz.
It's just a 2.5-inch reach, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm going the opposite way, man.
I'm not Chito. Touching it, but I'm gonna pick a. Oh man, I'm gonna pick Cruz. Sentimental pick, but it's not on my parlay. Sentimental pick.
Don't do that,
Dominick
man.
Cruz.
Don't do the sentimental ones, man. They never come out. Never.
I'm not doing it sentimental.
Says the guy that always picks Mackenzie Dern, always picks Luke Rockhold, always picks.
Oh my God! Are you gonna pick Luke Rockhold in his next fight to win, AJ?
I'm telling you, greatest fighter ever, man. He is fighting. Who the hell is he fighting next?
Costa? Is he fighting Costa?
Yeah, he's supposed to be fighting Paulo Costa, man.
Oh, yeah, you love both those guys.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, man. It's like trying to pick, like, you know, a blonde or a brunette. Like, I don't know, man. They both look good in a bikini.
Well, it depends on who you're talking about. So yeah, Costa and Rockhold is actually the co-main event of Usman and Edwards. That's the next UFC pay-per-view. It's August 20th. It's next Saturday. Holy shit, guys.
Already? Fuck,
yeah.
Time flies.
I know. Next Saturday, August 20th, will be UFC 278 in Salt Lake City, Utah. Kamaru Usman against Leon Edwards. Paulo Costa against Luke Rock in the co-main event. Jose Aldo against Merab Dvalishvili as well. Not bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right. I'm going to give you my parlay, and then we'll get Fred's parlay, and then we'll get AJ's parlay, because I know AJ likes to take his time, so I'm going to give AJ some time to formulate his thoughts while Fred and I give you our already formulated thoughts. So I'm going to go with a 3-fight parlay here. I am not going to give you the main event on my parlay, but I am telling you that I'm going with Dominick Cruz plus 185 as a single bet. I like that. What I am giving you is 3 fights, a very simple 3-fight parlay. Playing it safe here this week, similar to how we played it last week. It's Cynthia Calvillo minus 189. Ode Osbourne over Tyson Nam minus 260. I think that's a lock. Ode Osbourne, I think, is 100% winning. And Bruno Silva as well. He's a pretty heavy favorite, minus 300. Bruno Silva throws heavy leather. I think he gets a knockout over Gerald Meerschaert. I've got Bruno Silva. I've got Ode Osbourne. I've got Cynthia Calvillo over Nina Nunes. And I've got $20 at plus 180.
Nina Nunes has no chance. Because I was kind of leaning towards Nina.
Yeah. I was not impressed with her last fight.
Okay.
I was not impressed with her last fight. So I'm going to go with...
She's not on my parlay no more.
All right, there you go. Take her off, Fred. I'm not impressed. I'm going with Calvillo. I'm going with Ode. I'm going with Bruno. 20 gets you 56.48 at bet99.com. It's not a huge payout, guys. I'm telling you, it's not huge. But, you could turn $20 into 56, which, who are you to refuse? Plus 182. It's a 3-fight parlay. I think it comes through, and that is a Team Dave parlay.
So, yeah, I got Bruno also because mirror chart, he's not very good, let's be honest.
There you go.
So, yeah, I got Bruno Silva. I got Khamzat Murzakanov over
he's
Devin
going to win.
Clark.
Yes.
Because Devin Clark also is not very good, let's be honest.
Yes.
I got Lupita Godinez
Yes.
over Angela Hill because, let's be honest, Angela Hill ain't that good either.
Oh, my God.
And I got Ode Osbourne over Tyson Nam because, let's be honest, Tyson Nam ain't that good.
Right.
So, yeah, that's my
Thank
parlay.
you. I like that parlay, Fred. I'm with every fight on that parlay. I agree with you on every single pick there. Solid parlay from Team Fred. Bruno Silva, Lupi Godinez, Azamat Murzakanov, and Ode Osbourne. $20 gets you $78.20 over at bet99.com. Use that promo code Ringside when you sign up. That's a good parlay from Team Fred. Ode, Azamat, Lupita, and Bruno. I think we're not supposed to talk about that guy or something, Fred. You've seen that movie. You know, we got children.
No.
We're not supposed to talk about him. AJ, you know what
Bruno.
I'm talking about? Have you seen that one?
Are you talking about the fashion designer?
No, Bruno. You know, you're not supposed to talk about Bruno. You haven't seen that movie yet
Encanto.
with your kid?
No.
Encanto?
I thought you were talking about I thought you were talking about the Borat character, Bruno.
Bro.
Remember Bruno?
Yeah.
That was
But
the
we're talking
funniest,
about
man.
the movie Encanto on Disney because I can't watch the movie Bruno around my kids, but I can watch Encanto.
I wouldn't watch that either around my kids.
No.
Just
Why? What is it? A porn or what? What is it?
I watch Borat.
I wouldn't watch most what's his name? Fuck, his name's
Sacha
not
Baron
coming to
Cohen?
mind. Yeah, exactly.
he's
I
the
wouldn't
best.
No.
watch
I-
most of his movies with my kids.
I would not watch
Except
any.
Talladega Nights.
Even then, I would not watch any Sacha Baron Cohen movie with my kids, except for the wrestling scene in Borat, because of course that's just kid friendly. You know when they're wrestling naked around the hotel? That's great. That's
Oh yeah, that's funny, man.
AJ, give me your parlay.
Quick.
All right, so I'm going to start off with.
do not.
Let me just. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Marlon Vera for the win.
Wow, putting it on the parlay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Then I will be taking. What is my next pick here?
I don't know. You had a lot of time.
Yeah, no. I'm going to go with Onama on that fight. I'm going to go with Yazmin for the win. She's a heavy favorite, by the way, like you said. And then I'm going to go with Freddie with Azamat. I think Azamat is going to come out and really prove big in the UFC. And then I'm going to go with Lipski.
Oh,
And I will end
I think Kuchera is going to come in for an upset on that fight, AJ. I think that's where your parlay busts right at the start.
No.
Yeah.
I think-
Wasn't that Borat's guy? His wasn't it Azamat? Wasn't that his guy?
Azamat. Yeah.
Wasn't his friend Azamat? You know, he had a guy with him. The guy you wrestled. Wasn't that guy's name Azamat?
Yeah. Azamat. And then he became, I don't know what he was in the second movie with Borat. He was he was turned into a chair or something like that. I don't know if you actually
there was a
caught that
second
on.
movie. The second movie was pretty good, actually. I like that one.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it wasn't as good as
Are you
the
done
first
with your
one.
parlay?
No, Bruno Silva,
What?
man. Yes, man.
Jeez, brother. Bruno Silva. Are you done now?
Yes, I'm done
Can
now,
I
man.
show the people? The AJ
Show the
parlay.
people, man.
Marlon Vera, David Onama, Yazmin Jauregui. I have no idea how to pronounce her name. What? Jauregui. I have no idea. Azamat. Ariane Lipski. She's going to lose Lipski. Sorry, AJ. And Bruno over Gerald. We all like Bruno in a big way. Minus 300. $20 gets you 190.78. Big payoff for Team AJ this week. Damn. That's a 1,
But
2,
it
3,
won't
4,
come
5,
in.
6 fight. What is it? No, 5 fight. 6 fight. Vera, Onama, Jauregui, Azamat, Lipski, and Bruno. Big parlay for AJ. Big one. All right, before
Team
we
AJ?
before we sign off, I want to say rest in peace to the great legend of martial arts and professional wrestling, Judo Jean LaBelle, who passed away today, I believe, or possibly yesterday.
Yesterday.
The guy was a legendary judo, stuntman, pro wrestler, everything. Just involved in so much, famous for so many different reasons as a professional wrestler, as a stuntman, as a guy who helped Bruce Lee choreograph a lot of his scenes in some of his movies and countless others. There's a famous story of Gene LeBell apparently choking out Steven Seagal, who was talking a lot of shit on a movie set, and Gene LeBell choked him out and made him shit his pants. That's a story about Gene LeBell. Of course, he gave a judo black belt to Rowdy Roddy Piper, and he was a close confidant of the great Ronda Rousey. He was a good friend of Ronda's. He was trained under, I think, Ed Strangler Lewis, which is so crazy how far back Gene LeBell goes. Strangler Lewis, like, my God. If you don't know, if you've never heard of Strangler Lewis, this guy is like a real old school, original professional wrestler, like one of the real original. Like, if you're trained by Strangler Lewis, it's like you're basically trained by, one of the original pro wrestlers of the game. So it's kind of crazy how long Gene LeBell's been around. Passes away at the age of 89. He's just been around forever, has been a legend in so many different ways. He was the referee in the Muhammad Ali Antonio Inoki fight. They had like a mixed rules fight where Ali did boxing rule. Ali was a boxer and Inoki was the the pro wrestler, and they did kind of like a mixed rules type of fight, like a real fight. And Inoki just kind of sat in his butt and started kicking Ali. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Inoki versus Ali fight, but a lot of people say it was like the first MMA fight because it was kind of a mixed rules type of thing. Judo, Gene LeBell was the referee for that thing. He was the ring announcer, I think, in, I want to say Raging Bull. He was like the ring announcer in Raging Bull. He's been in so many movies. Like, that's it. He's been in so much. He's been in so many different things. He's been around forever. He's done
Elvis movies, man. He's been crazy. In Batman. Did you know that he got beaten up by the first Batman in 1960? Like, he got beaten up by the small Batman. 30 years later, he got beaten up by Batman again. Gene LeBell, man, like he said, the funniest thing is that, in real fights, he would win, but never make a penny. In all the real fights he lost, he made money, talking about his movie career. That's where he made his most money, But the guy was phenomenal, like unbelievable, like one of the greatest martial artists that ever lived, man. Just a great storyteller. And, it's interesting. You're talking about Bruce Lee. I mean, if you really look into the facts, Bruce Lee really learned a lot from Gene LeBell when it came to grappling, because apparently at one point, they brought Gene LeBell into the Green Hornet to kind of control like Bruce Lee, because he was beating up all the stuntmen. And what Gene LeBell did is that he came in, picked up Bruce Lee on his shoulder with a fireman throw and started running around the room so like Bruce Lee couldn't jump off. And Bruce was like, oh, fuck, this guy's nuts. And they had mutual respect forever. Chuck Norris. That's the thing with Gene LeBell. He's touched so many people from the early days of his life to all the way to now, man. We're talking Ronda Rousey, man, Roddy Piper, like all these guys, that got influenced by Gene LeBell. I did too, man. I love Gene LeBell. I like watching his old stuff, and I'm going to send you a link because I saw some of his old pro wrestling moves and chokeholds and that kind of stuff. And I look at that and I'm like, man, this guy was just amazing, man. Just an amazing guy. And it's sad to see a guy like that, leave. 89 years old, man. He lived a good life, but still, it's tough. Rest in peace, Gene.
Yeah, I mean, everybody eventually meets their end, and thankfully for Gene LeBell, he lived a long and fruitful life. He just left an impact on so many people in so many different worlds. He did so much. Really jam-packed life. You look at the biography of this guy, it's like he only lived to be 89. You would think he lived 10 lifetimes with the amount of things that he had done, and unfortunately not everybody gets to live a full life and die of natural causes. We had the great jiu-jitsu player Leandro Lo, who passed away as well from a gunshot in Brazil. Really sad story there. Got into an altercation with somebody who shot him and killed him. very, very sad. Leandro Lo, our thoughts with all his friends, his family, students, and fans. A legendary jiu-jitsu guy, so definitely will be missed as well. So very sad to hear of Leandro Lo's passing and Judo Jean LaBelle as
all
well.
All the same week, man.
Let's leave you with a happy note. Happy birthday, Hulk Hogan! Hulk Hogan turned 69, brother. Oh, yeah, you know how to celebrate Hulk Hogan's birthday, brother. Grab somebody in a north-south position and go wild, brother. Hulk Hogan's 69th, brother. Yeah. Sorry. Patrick C. Hamilton. Patrick C. Hamilton dropping the 777. He says, taking a break from betting unless you can convince me otherwise. Thank you, Patrick, for the super chat. I don't know. I mean, I hope I convinced you with my 3-fight parlay. My 3-fight parlay of all favorites won last week. It's not a huge payout, but I think it's pretty good. So I would go with that, Patrick, or, take a break for tonight and bet everything on Kamaru Usman next week because, he's fighting next week and he's fighting Leon Edwards. So, right? Anybody picking Leon Edwards?
Man.
Yeah, but Usman minus 367. I think there's value there. I think he's a lock. Paulo Costa minus 286. I think there's value there too. I think he's a lock.
I don't know, man. Costa is disappointing. Yeah,
bro,
he should
fighting
win.
Luke Rockhold. He's fighting Luke Rockhold.
I know, man.
Come on.
But
listen, man, Luke Rockhold was no joke, man, up to that point. With this
but now he is. So, when you're a part-time fighter and you don't really fight, that's kind of how it works. You're not going to win. Luke Rockhold is not going to win next week. I'll bet anything.
I mean, look at Costa's last 3 wins. All 3 guys are not in the UFC no more. They might all be retired.
When's the last time Luke Rockhold won?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm just saying, I was on the Costa bandwagon, but I'm not on it no more. I think I might have been wrong on that one. Like, he's an okay fighter, but I don't think he's an elite fighter.
Oh, I think you're right about that. But, he's fighting Luke Rockhold.
I mean, Luke lost again his last fight.
Yeah? How did that go?
He lost.
How bad? Real bad? Got knocked out in second round. And that was in 2019, Fred. It was 3 years ago. He hasn't won the last... Okay, my son is about to start kindergarten. The last time Luke Rockhold won a fight, my son couldn't even speak. He didn't have teeth. Okay? He didn't have teeth. He couldn't walk. He couldn't move. He could barely hold his head up on his own. Okay? The last time Luke Rockhold fought, Zev had no teeth. He couldn't walk. He couldn't speak. He's about to start
kindergarten. Wasn't Zev like 2 years? What year is Zev born?
2017.
So he was 2 years old.
No, Rockhold won. The last time Rockhold won,
last time
not
he won.
fought.
Okay, sorry.
Won.
Okay, sorry.
Rockhold lost one in September 2017. Zev was born in June.
Yeah, cool, perfect.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's okay.
I'm like, come on, man. Your kid was more than that at 2.
Fred, I thought you were good at math, okay? Angelo Contagonis. Patrick C. Hamilton says, if Brooklyn picks a winner, I'll bet it. Well, Miss Brooklyn, there you go. If you pick a winner, Patrick will bet it. So pick a winner for Patrick. Or don't. Patrick's been a member of the team for 21 months. That's more than a year, guys. That's like almost 2 years. 3 more months, and it's 2 years consecutive membership. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that very much. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. Angelo Contagonis, you're the Super Chat leader of the night. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. When will Olivier Aubin-Mercier fight for the PFL Lightweight Championship? He's going to fight for $1 million. He won his semifinal fight. Excuse me. He'll be fighting Stevie Ray November 24th. So Olivier's got a bit of time. I saw Olivier post something where he's weighing like over 180 pounds, in the 180-something range. And he has to fight at 155. I was like, geez, when's his fight? It's in November. He's got time. He's got time. No, it's not that much. For a lightweight fighter, I'm like, yeah, he can cut that, no problem. But it's just kind of, I was like, I hope he's not fighting in the next 2 or 3 weeks because, 30-something pounds to cut can't be fun. It sounds unpleasant for him. Doable,
listen,
but just
man, I've seen
shitty,
guys over 20 pounds drop.
I don't think that's going to be the case come
Hey,
fight
Jay,
week.
man. A long time ago, I remember interviewing Patrick Cote, and I think it was like after his knee injury, but he told me he was like over 240, and he fought at 185. So it happens, man. These guys go up and down.
Fought at 172, Fred. Don't forget, he fought at 170.
Yeah, also, yeah, exactly. So these guys put on weight when they're not active, man. I'm not too scared.
Well, it's like I was saying with Pereira. Pereira is at 230 something right now. He's got to lose 47 pounds before November. Listen, man, they can do it, man. Olivier is very committed, man. But it's a lot of weight, man.
I'm really excited about that fight, Olivier Aubin-Mercier versus Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat. I've been a big fan for a long time. I can't believe he's in MMA. I can't believe he can make 155. How does he make 155? Stevie Ray was a big guy, pretty old too to be fighting. But hey, who knows? I made the same jokes when Stevie Ray fought in the UFC. I don't know if you remember, this guy fought in the UFC, and I would always talk about Harlem Heat. And he's like a white Scottish guy, I think. He's not Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat with Booker T. Both from Houston, not Harlem at all. But
So since we're talking about Hogan, should we play the Booker T segment where he's talking to Hogan? No,
he's not talking to Hogan. He's talking about Hulk Hogan.
About Hogan.
We want all the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
Careful. Good night.
AJ doesn't even know the end of that, right?
I want to hear it.
Great about that. AJ, you don't know? You've never seen that? Hulk Hogan, we coming for you?
But
we're coming for all the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you. And then he says the N-word.
What?
Yeah, he says the N-word because Booker T was like just getting hyped up, and I guess he would, throw that around because he's an African-American guy. And then some of those guys, they throw around the N-word. And then he goes, Hulk Hogan, we coming for you. He says it, and then he's like, oh. He's like he's like done interviews about it. He's like, I thought I was going to get fired immediately after that. I thought I was screwed. It was over. But even Hogan kind of joked with him after about it, and it's fine,
Maybe that's where Hogan learned the word. Whoops,
yeah, exactly. It's not Hogan's fault. It's not Hogan's fault. Booker T taught him how to say it. I've never heard Hulk Hogan say it on television. I have heard Vince McMahon say it on television, so that was another thing.
To John Cena.
Yeah, to John Cena. And then Booker T was like, tell me he didn't just say that right next to him. You guys know who Bo Nickel is?
I know the word.
Rings a bell, yeah.
All right.
Bo Jackson, I know. Who?
He's a wrestler guy.
Oh, yeah, he's the top NCAA guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's like a phenomenal wrestler. Yeah. What about him?
He fought for Dana White Contender Series on Tuesday and smashed his opponent in like a couple minutes with a rear naked choke, took him down, made quick work out of him. But then Dana didn't give him a contract because that was only his second fight in MMA. So he said,
"Well, how many fights CM Punk had?"
Isn't he the coach for American Top Team as well? He's the wrestling coach for American Top Team.
I think so. Yeah. No, he's really good.
Phenomenal.
He's really good. And I watched Dana White Contender Series on Tuesday. I don't watch it every Tuesday. I was watching the Yankee game and I was watching Dana White Contender just to see Bo Nickel. And man, he is good. He is good.
I didn't know
the level of competition isn't super high yet, but you could tell he's going to be a problem. He says he's coming for the middleweight championship. He is already has aspirations of the very top, and he's got skills that make you think he might get there. He's really good. Dana didn't give him a UFC contract because there's 8 more weeks of Contender Series, so they're going to get him in the Contender Series again, fight again in the next 8 weeks. He'll probably win, and then, yes, you need to see this, AJ, because this guy is probably going to be the hottest prospect coming into the UFC in the next couple of years. Probably in the next few months and to a year, because he's going to win his Contender Series fight in a few weeks or whenever, maybe a couple of months, whenever it happens. And then he'll get a UFC contract, and then he'll be 3-0 early in the game. But with the wrestling ability he has, he's going to do pretty well, I think. He was impressive.
He's a beast, this guy, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's good.
I'm looking forward to seeing this.
There you go. Well, you learn something new every day here on the Ringside Report Network. You know, sometimes
you do.
It's not only the people that watch the show that learn something, but the people that are on the show learn something. So how about that? Fred learned that the word for feather in French is plume. All right, I had to teach Fred that tonight. AJ learned a little something about Bo Nickel.
Wait. I know Bo Nichols, but I didn't realize he was fighting.
You guys remember the restaurant Nichols? 5 cent. Smoked
That's
meat.
Celine Dion.
Exactly. Celine
That's Celine Dion.
I know. Wasn't it her mother that owned it?
There was a fraud story with them, man, where they weren't declaring all their money to the IRS income tax.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go there. It was all right.
It was good, Nichols.
Yeah,
I think the first one was in LaSalle. I think she showed up at the opening of that restaurant way back.
Did we go there together once?
Nichols?
A long time ago. Yeah.
Maybe.
Because the last one was still in Montreal.
I mean,
the last Nichols.
If we were looking for some place to eat and there was a Nichols available, I think we would have gone, Fred. I mean, that sounds like me. I would definitely go to Nichols.
Or like an MMA show or something to Nichols.
That sounds familiar. Nichols.
Yeah, but you can't compare the smoked meat from Nichols to somebody like Smoked Meat Pete.
I don't think Nichols exists anymore.
Don's.
No, I don't think so. Don's, yeah, but Smoked Meat Pete, man. Can't beat Pete's meat.
All right.
Careful.
Angelo Contagones has been a member for 19 months. Thank you, Angelo. He says, great show as always. You guys rock. Thank you, Angelo. You're the Super Chat leader of the night. Appreciate you. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate you as well, my friend, out in Saskatchewan, and everybody else tuning in tonight. Thank you, whether you're watching us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We are all over the place. It is the Ringside Report Network. I will be back here tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time with Johnny North to talk some professional wrestling. Business is picking up in the WWE. Dexter Lumis returned to Raw this week. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like WWE might have a creative edge over AEW, which is really surprising. So we'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. Angelo says we need to get together soon, AJ, which I find interesting because I think the last time you guys got together, I was there too. Time. I was there too, right? Last time Angelo and AJ got together, and I was there too. We all met up in the parking lot of Orange Julep, and we had Orange Julep. But for some reason, Angelo, he just wants to meet up with AJ. He's not trying to meet up with Dave. He's like, AJ, we need to get together soon. He had the Dave and AJ experience, and I think he's like, yeah, I think I just want to hang out with AJ. Dave's cool to watch or whatever, but I'd rather just hang out with AJ. And I don't blame you, Angelo. I fully get it. He's saying you too, Dave. He's saying you too, Dave, but I know what you mean. It's all right, Angelo. It's okay.
Like I've been seeing pictures on social media of like female wrestlers with fans, and they leave space.
Supposedly Sasha Banks?
Yeah,
Sasha
exactly.
Banks, yes.
But AJ doesn't leave space, man, and that's why AJ's a man of the people, man.
Yeah, man, exactly.
Yeah, when you take pictures with me, you have to stand 5 feet away.
Yeah, you do, man.
Yeah, I saw that Sasha Banks did like a signing, and all the people had to stand like quite a bit away from Sasha Banks to take the picture.
Why?
The picture looked really awkward. I wouldn't really want a picture with somebody.
Some people are fucking dumbasses, so they don't have a choice to do that.
I agree. Yeah. Some people, I've seen pictures of some of these lady wrestlers being like hugged on by some of these men, and it's not pleasant. They don't need that. They don't have to do that, and I get that. But, like, can't you say, like, okay, we'll stand next to each other, but don't touch me. Don't touch me. Just stand near me. But Sasha Banks had, like, a 5-foot gap between her and the person standing there with her. It's like, are you taking a picture with somebody or in the vicinity of somebody?
Maybe
it's
she's worried about COVID.
Yeah, I don't think that was it.
It's
an
not
odd
a cabin at
thing to ask for money. You know what I mean?
Good point. Listen, man.
Angelo, we'll meet up. My point?
Well, Freddie's point there.
Come on, man.
All right.
Listen, Angelo, we'll meet up. Smoke me, Pete. I'll put down the date. It's going to be a Ringside Report Network meeting.
That's so
but it's
far.
worth it, man.
I'm not going there. I'm not going
Come on,
there.
Dave.
You could get
I'm
me to
gonna drive
Orange
you.
Julep. You're not getting me to Smoke Meat Pete. Where is that?
In Vaudreuil.
No, I live in Montreal. I don't live in Vaudreuil. I'm not going all the way there.
Bro, it's worth it, man.
You
It's
think
worth
I'm going to
it.
go to Vaudreuil for a smoked
I'll
meat
drive you.
sandwich?
Yeah,
I live in
man.
Montreal. I can have smoked meat
It's so
anywhere I
good.
want. You got
No,
to
it's
smoke
not
meat around
the
the
same,
corner.
dude. It's not. No,
You know what?
It's not the same.
It's
not the
worth
same.
it. It's worth getting it around here rather than having to travel real far.
No.
I'm not going
Listen,
real far
man.
to get a smoked meat sandwich.
I'm bringing you. I'm
Like, I've
telling
been
you.
there.
I'm going to drive you.
I don't even think I've been there. I don't think I've been there. I think people have brought back sandwiches for me because I'm not going all the way to Vaudreuil for a goddamn sandwich. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I want to go.
Anyways,
do some
I'll figure it
nachos.
out.
All right. Angelo agrees. We're doing orange julep because it's more delicious. Okay, cool. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you
set the
tomorrow
date.
night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Wrestling Uncensored with Johnny North. Oh, wait. Johnny had a question.
What does Johnny have to say?
Hold on. He wants to know if
Come on,
AJ
Johnny.
has explained this.
What
What the hell is that? Explain that.
That is
for Johnny.
funny. Johnny, there's many more to come. Wait. No explanation, man.
All right.
That's
enough.
that's
I
just
can't even
Dave
believe I
Simon and
entertained
many-
that. Ridiculous.
many shades of blue of Dave Simon.
It's Aladdin, the genie, Dave. All right. That's it. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern with Johnny North. We'll talk some pro wrestling. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Angelo Contagonis. You are the Super Chat leader of the night right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.